Hello students, welcome to today's class. Today we will be starting with chapter 2 elementary concepts of objects and classes. So this was the lesson which I skipped initially. So let us start. In chapter 1 you have learned about object oriented programming concepts, OOPS, and its principles such as objects, class, data abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance, isn't it? An object oriented programming language promotes all of these features, but objects and classes are the most powerful concepts of programming, Java programming. So, in this lesson, we will be learning more about objects as well as classes. So let us start with objects. An object is a fundamental unit of object-oriented programming and represents the real life entities. So objects are anything which represent the real life. So that is known as objects, and objects are classified into two, that is real world and software. The real world objects as well as software objects. Let us start with the real world objects. Real world objects are those which we experience or use in our day-to-day life, and it possesses the following features. They are: it is visible to us, that means we can see them, and it has a definite shape as well as size. Next is it can brought into thoughts and figures. That means you can imagine them as well as you can figure it out. So these are the properties of real world objects. Let us see some examples for them. They are pencil is a real world object, apple is a real world object, bag, board, book, even you, me, mobile phone, table, chairs, computer, everything, each and everything we see and which is possessing the features, like all these three features, it is known as real world objects. Each real world object contains characteristics and behaviors, and the characteristics basically comprises the parts of its body or specifications. So real world objects will be having each characteristics as well as behavior, and characteristics means its parts of its body or specifications. Behavior is a purpose of its use or its functions. Okay, so behavior characteristics means its part or specifications. Behavior means its purpose or functions. So we'll see with an example. Here is an example called dog. Class name is dog, and so there are four dogs here. So whichever dog may be, each, if you're considering dog as an object, any kind of dog, it will possess some properties, that is characteristics or state or attributes are its breed. Okay, breed can be anything, then its age as well as color, then behaviors can be its functions, that is barking, sleeping, eating, etc. So in your textbook, the examples given are mobile phones. So mobile phones state can be its model, its dial pad, what is its size, then what are the apps inside it, etc. And its behaviors can be, its functions are, it is used to talk, then it can be used to browse the internet, then it can be used for playing games, then it can be used for net banking and lot. Okay, so every real world object has characteristics or state and behaviors. Next, we will see what are software objects. A software object may be defined as an object that is created inside the Java program. So you know how to write a Java program. So when we are creating any object inside the Java program, then it is known as a software object. So similar to the real life objects, software objects also possess its characteristics and behavior. But The characteristics of software objects are referred to as data members. So the characteristics of software objects are referred to as data members, and the behavior of software objects are referred to as member functions or methods. So characteristics are called as data members when it comes to software objects, and behavior are known as member functions or methods. So we can say that a software object is a combination of data members as well as functions. Data members and functions together make a software object. Now you know what are real world and what are software objects. So let us have a comparative study of real world and software objects. So here I am taking book as a real world object and student as a software object. So object names are book for real world and student for software object. So the state or characteristics of real world object book are chapters, its number of pages, and the different topics, and the data members for the software object student are name, subjects, and marks. So name can be the name of the student, subjects are what are the subjects the student had written the exam, then the marks of those subjects. Then the behavior of book can be, it is used for reading, it is used to prepare notes, and the software object students functions can be accept function. So when you are opening and closing a bracket, it denotes that it is a function. This you will be noticing while you write public static void main. Okay, so accept function, this function can be used to accept the details of the student, like name of the student, what are the subject the student has written the exam, and what are the marks. Then we have one more function which is display, and this can be used to display the name of the student, the subjects and marks, even the total marks, average, percentage, etc. Let us see about message passing. So we all communicate each other. How do we communicate? We communicate through talking, writing, through sending messages, and we do communicate to pass information, right? Interestingly, objects also can interact with each other. I'm talking about software object. Software objects also interact with each other or pass information. So let us see. An object can pass information to another object and receive information as well. They interact through behavior or functions which is known as message passing. So they are interacting towards each other with the help of behavior or functions. So software object always has a data as well as function, and interaction is happening between the functions. So data will communicate to the function, and the function will be communicating with the other objects. So it is to and fro. That means A can communicate to B as well as B also can be communicate to A. So this is all about message passing. And the practical possibilities of this message passing, or how the objects can be created, how functions can be created, how we can how these objects are communicating each other with the message passing, all those things you will be learning in next year, that is practically in programming how it is possible, that will be learning in next year in 10th standard. So with this we are winding up the session. With the same chapter, we'll meet in the next session. Thank you.